Welcome to a Cincy fan talking with LP, and once again, it's yours truly, LP. What's really good? What's up, people? What's going on? What it is, what it was, what it's gonna be like, all that stuff, man. It's LP checking back in with you and yours. Excuse the happiness in my voice, y'all, but if you a teacher out there, you feel this, you know what it is. It's summertime. Nah. Let me run that back. It's summertime. Yes, sir. Looky here. Let me tell you. Hey, it was a tough road to hoe to get here. Like it was a long bridge. Let me tell you. Dealing with the fake snow days, dealing with the goofy kids, dealing with the attitudes. Look, forget all that. We here. And I won't say it's bittersweet. It's super sweet with a splish splash of bitterness. I would say, the kids grow on you, and throughout the year, you find yourself looking forward to having the kids in your class, looking forward to the goofy stuff they're gonna say and stuff like that. So it's nice to get a break. And like the wife and myself say, in the summer, every day just feel like a Saturday. Like every day just feel like Saturday. I forget what day of the week it is, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like that's what summer is. Just like a whole bunch of Saturdays all stacked up on top of each other. And then the day before you go back for PDs, before professional developments, it just feel like all the Sundays just jump on you at one time. That's what summer feel like for most teachers. I play pretty much all teachers. I'm gonna live it up. I'm gonna kick back. I'm lying. I got house stuff to do. I got chores to knock out. I got the little honey-do list or whatever. But in the middle of all that, it's a whole lot of chilling and just kicking back. I hope. Um, as far as summer plans for ALP and the fam, it's a whole lot of chaos, a whole lot of Kings Island. We got the summer passes, the season passes. We'll be running around. Maybe hit Cedar Point. Maybe do a dash up 75 to hit Cedar Point. The wife and I we're actually celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary. 20 years, man. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that coming up because we got that coming up in a couple of weeks. Doing our first cruise. Yeah, a cruise. Planned this long before the hantavirus stuff and all of that. Can't say I'm super concerned about it, but we're a little concerned about it. From what I heard, this is our first time cruising ever. So, from what I heard, wash your hands a whole lot. The wife, she'll have the surface wipes and all of that. She'll wipe stuff down as soon as we get into the room. So, no concerns there. So, I mean, it should be a good time. If anybody is an avid cruiser out there, let me know what to expect on our first cruise. I don't really get motion sickness and stuff like that. The wife might. The wife also has never been on a plane before, so this would be a real interesting experience seeing her on the plane for the first time ever. So if we got any cruisers out there, let me know what to expect. Let me know what to bring, what not to bring. I've been looking at the websites heavy, checking everything out. But if you got some tips of the trade to let your boy know, shoot them through. Y'all know how to hit me up. Hit me on the email. Hit me all that. You know how I get down. So big things coming up. Should be a whole lot of chilling too. So look, man, super happy that it's summertime. Super excited, but the more I watch the tube and the more I like kind of assess certain situations out there, the more I start putting on my old man cloak. my get off my lawn. I've done a couple of episodes like that where stuff just irked me to the point where I got to spend a whole episode just complaining. This isn't really complaining per se. Let me stop using school words in the summertime. Let me chill out. Nah, but for real, I just feel like it's too much of everything. It's like when you're a kid and you find your favorite candy bar, your favorite pop. Yeah, we from Cincinnati, so we say pop. By the way, we don't really rock with soda. My Chi-Town people probably feel me on this. We say pop. That's what it is. It's pop. It's not soda. Again, that's another episode for another day. But you had your favorite beverage choice as a kid, and you just down it, drink after drink after drink, until you get sick of it. And then mine's just like, hey, you want some more of this? And you like, nah, I'm good. Too much. It was a lyric on who was it? Hey, if you're a youngin' out there, you might have to go through the annals of your rap history, but it was a group called Nice and Smooth. It was like one of my favorite groups in the early 90s. It was Greg Nice and Smooth B. And like they flows just went so good together. It was like Greg Nice was like kind of the rough one. He would just say wild stuff and string it together. Like it was just wild. And then Smooth B come like with the little silky voice like dun dun dun. And that was like one of my favorite groups. And they had this song called Sometimes I Rhyme Slow, Sometimes I Rhyme Quick. Like that was the hook. And Greg Knight said too much of anything makes you an addict on that. Like I still remember this like crystal clear, like no static, got an automatic, too much of anything makes you an addict. See the bars? That's not matter, that's Greg Nice. And that line always stuck with me because like when I was a youngin', I'm like, too much of anything makes you an addict. Like that's just drugs. But as I grew up, I'm like, nah, that's anything. Like too much of anything gets you hooked onto it. So you got to do everything with moderation. And I feel like people don't take that into account nowadays. Not for real. Like, and I got a lot of different examples. Some sports, some not. But my first one, y'all know what it is. It's the NFL, man. Like, at some point, and I feel like the powers that be, that's running these like sports channels and these networks and whatnot, I feel like they understand that they need to jump on the gravy train while they can, because if they don't, that money will be gone. I mean, everybody saw the NFL schedule drop. By the way, something else that the NFL does that we really don't need. We really don't need a big hype bus to have us watching the schedule drop. Y'all could have put that out in the morning for real, and we just would have all just consumed it and that's it. But the NFL, they realize they gotta have you on that 12-month schedule. They gotta be in your face every single month of the year. And I get it. You gotta have that brand awareness and whatnot, but for me, it's just too much. I'm looking around just trying to find the schedule. Like I just want to know the schedule. And now you got everybody doing their little schedule drops, and we gotta up it. We gotta do Yu-Gi-Oh. We got to. We already know who's playing who. We just want to know when, for real. So the NFL dropped their schedule, whatever, and there are games on Thanksgiving Eve, the day before Thanksgiving, and then there are games on Thanksgiving. And then there are games on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. And then you got games on Saturdays. And then you got. It's too much. And everybody got to have a hand in the pot. I understand that. But at some point, yo, this. I don't know how a lot of people feel about Thanksgiving Day games, but I used to be happy that the Bengals weren't playing on Thanksgiving. And I still am. Like Thanksgiving night, I was cool with Thanksgiving night. And here's why. I don't think a lot of people think like me on this, but I feel like some people do. And this is, by the way, this is why Christmas Day NBA games are absolutely awesome. Here's why. And it's the truth. These games are background. They should be background in your life. With us, our family, we'll have the Thanksgiving Day game on in the background while we're eating. Nobody's watching that game. If something crazy happens, we're like, oh shoot. But nobody's watching for real. Nobody really wants to watch for real. Like, I would hate if I was a Dallas Cowboy or Detroit Lions fan. I really got to be watching football is hard, y'all. And the games are always close. Every single game is like a nail biter. There are very few blowouts in the NFL. Like for real when you think about it. Can you imagine trying to talk to your kinfolk and trying to like be invested in the game at the same time? Nah, man, that would be trash, absolute trash. But the NFL putting on divisional games, games that are really important during Thanksgiving. That's trash. It really is. Christmas Day, the NBA got to figure it out. They know we're not really watching. It's just background. That's what makes the NBA games elite on Christmas. You have teams playing each other, and they might play each other like four times in a season. So, they might be going hard, but it's December 25th. This is just one blip on an 82 game schedule. That's perfect. The NFL is a little bit different because all these games matter. There's only 17 of them. I feel like that this year, I keep telling people this. At some point, we will be watching the Super Bowl on a streaming channel. You will have to have Netflix. You will have to have Hulu. It's gonna happen. The way the NFL is just too prevalent out here. There's way too much going on with the NFL. Slow down. As a kid, I don't remember the NFL being this big of a focus. Not media wise. And you know what? Maybe it's because I've been a Bengals fan since I was knee high to a grasshopper. Maybe it's because of that. And after 90-91, the Bengals were mud up until about 0405. And I'm just keeping it a buck. So maybe that's it. There's too much NFL. There's about to be too much college football. It's coming. The CFP is about to expand to 24 teams. It's gonna happen. So that means we went from two teams to four teams to 12 teams to 24 teams. And I know a lot of y'all out there like, come on, LP, you don't want more football? That's not it. I'm a big fan of college football. But the thing is, the more playoff teams you let into the dance, the less the regular season really matters. Think about it for a second. Ohio State plays Texas this year, and they played Texas last year, like a home and home thing. Why play that game if 24 teams get in? And before I keep going, we're talking about 24 at large teams. So the quote unquote 24 best teams get in. That's trash. And I know some of y'all like LP, you're not picking on college basketball. They just went up to 76 teams. There's a really big difference between what the NCAA is doing with basketball and football. And here's the difference. You get 76 teams into March Madness, right? That's what they're doing. But if you win your conference, no matter how big or how small your Division 1 team is, if you win your conference, you get into the tournament. That's perfect. Maybe they get blown out by 36 or 45 or 71 by some number one seed, but they get a shot. And really, all you're asking for is a shot. The CFP, they're letting in the 24 quote unquote best teams. And maybe they'll let in one group of five team or two group of five teams. But if there's nine conferences, if you win your conference, you should get in. Nah, they're going to get blown out. Maybe. But it's not like they don't play these teams anyway. Power Four, Power Five, or whatever they're calling themselves nowadays. These Power Four teams, they play these lower level teams all the time. They call them buy-in games. They'll pay these teams a couple 100,000 to come to their stadium and blow them out by 30. That's what almost always happens. Almost always happens. But they get a chance. They should get a chance in the CFP. And it's easy to see why they don't want it to happen. When I say they, I mean the CFP. The networks want the best games possible. I really hate how the networks have absolutely destroyed college football. College football used to be a regional thing. It really was. And now it's a national thing. And now it's to the point where the conferences look. I'm not understanding why Cal and Stanford are in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Last I checked, the Atlantic Coast was on the East Coast. But hey, apparently I'm crazy because it's all about the almighty dollar. It's about to be like an overload of college football playoff games. And I don't really like it. I just think it devalues the regular season and it's going to end up devaluing the playoff. There's going to be a whole lot of teams that don't deserve to be in, but they're going to be in because they play in the Big Ten or they play in the SEC. So we're going to have like an 8-4 Big Ten team in the tournament. What's the point? Like, what's really the point of that? Just leave it the way it is if you're going to let teams in that really don't deserve to be in. If you win your conference, you should be in the CFP. It makes sense to me. I just feel like it's one of those things where you get too much of anything and you just go crazy for it. And next thing you know, we're going to have like a 36 team tournament. And never mentioned in any of this, and this is the teacher coming out of me, never mentioned in any of this is what about school? Like, I think most schools are on semesters now. I'm pretty sure if you're in the CFP in January, you're crossing over to another semester. So you're missing the beginning of those classes. But who cares, right? Who goes to school to go to school, right? bad, bad LP, bad LP. It's just a farce, man. It just really feels like just become a farm system for the NFL. Just take off the shackles. Just take off the whole school thing. Just call it what it is. Like, we're not really caring about school the way we're supposed to. And I get it. A lot of these kids, well, some of these kids, they figured out what they want to do with their life. And that's what college is all about. They figured out what they want to do. They want to be a professional football player or a professional basketball player. And if you figure out what you want to do, you should be cultivating that. I'm all for that. All I'm saying is this: stop throwing school in our face. Stop calling them student athletes when you don't care about the student part. Call them athlete students. I don't know. Stop. It just doesn't make sense. Let me breathe a little bit. I get a little amped up about this because I just don't like being played. We're we're finally paying these kids like they should have been getting paid because for years and years and decades we've been calling them student athletes so we cannot pay them. That's been the hustle. And now these kids are getting super paid and people are getting upset because they're bouncing around from school to school to school getting that check because they want to play. Let's not be mad now because coaches have been doing that for the longest. I'm all about kids getting the money. I just want every kid to get an equal shot at being in the CFP. I feel like that's not too much to ask. Or maybe it is. So I got in my feelings about the NFL and then I kind of pulled myself out of that only to start reading articles about the CFP. Then I started getting upset about that. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and throw in my video game because I haven't played in a while, And that's the thing about school. When you get to like that last stretch run of the year, it'll be all types of state testing, and then there's your curriculum testing, and then there's common assessments, and then you're getting everything ready for the next year. So you're planning out your rosters for next year. Some people are moving on to bigger and better things because of school. Because some people are getting laid off. A lot of people are getting laid off. It's a real messed up thing. We got to talk about that next week. I really didn't have time to devote to building my player up, or getting some Street Fighter in or something like that. So I go ahead and load up my 2K game, 2K26. I waited for the longest to buy it because I'm sick of wasting money on these games, and then they just burn out because 2K27 is coming out. I just felt like it was a waste of time. So I waited till after Thanksgiving to buy it for like 40% off, which was awesome. And then I realized when you buy the game, you're not buying the actual entire game. This isn't going to make sense at first. Let me go ahead and throw it back. When you bought your Sonic the Hedgehog game, or when you bought your Mario Brothers game, or your Mike Tyson Punch Out, or your Zelda, whatever your thing was. By the way, I was really big on playing Mega Man. Some of the best game playing of my life. So you buy your game, you get the entire game. You don't have to worry about downloading extra parts. You don't have to pay extra for another season or anything like that. I jump in 2K, no lie. Four straight ads for you to buy something for the game to make your person better. And I'm looking like, shouldn't I be able to simply play the game and make my player better? Uh-uh. Man, I took my player out on the park. It's people zooming past with all types of crazy builds and superpowers and all this stuff. And I'm like, in order to get to the level they're on, you have to spend money. After you spent money, like, it still doesn't make sense to me, y'all. I bought the game. Why do I have to give you more money after I bought the game? And it's to the point where people just accept it. You have seasons where you can get extra packs and all types of crap. Then you have to buy stuff to outfit your player because apparently nobody wants to play with you if you're just wearing the standard 2K gear. Now you got to go get fresh out here to buy your fake player stuff to look good so people want to play with you. What? Are you serious? Come on, man. So they want you to spend money on that. Not to mention, your player's gonna get tired fast, so you gotta buy boosts for that. And then you gotta buy extra shoes so you can look good on the course. So you gotta buy shoes for your player. I'm like, this is ridiculous, man. I just put it down. I just put it down. We're we're not doing this, man. I I I hate where gaming is right now. I absolutely hate it. This can't be life. And being a video game head for like the longest time, ever since I was like a small child, it wasn't like this. Like it really wasn't. I wish people could like teleport themselves back to when you bought the game. You popped the game in, and all you had to do to get better, all you had to do to get better was play. You just play. And the more you played, the better you got. Now, they didn't make it easy. Some of these games were absolutely ridiculously hard, y'all. But the more you played, the better you got. Simple. And it got to the point where you can make it through some games pretty easy until you got to the final boss and you had to grind. Now it's like you get to a certain level and you literally can't move on unless you spend bread to make your player better or to make the level easier. That's weird. And then on top of that, like you really can't lose because you can just keep playing and playing and playing. Say, do you want to try again? Do you want to try again? Nah, man. When we was gaming as kids, it got to a point where if you took too many L's, it's over. You got to start from the beginning. You got to work your way back to that part. It's not like that now. You can pretty much fail a gazillion times. And I guess I don't really have a problem with that. Like if you're willing to put the work in and the effort in, then cool. My problem is, why am I paying upwards of like $70 to buy part of a game? That's what's happening because there'll be like seasons and it'll be like you gotta buy this when this comes out. You gotta download this when this comes out. Why can't I just have the entire game as soon as I buy it? I know some people that spent $149.95 on 2K and then spent another $50 to buy virtual currency to upgrade their player. And then they spent another 20 to buy a Hall of Fame pass to upgrade their player. And then they spent another $70 every 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, true story. That's what it takes to be good at games now. This can't be life. I know why this is happening. And I feel like if anybody watches the scene, they would get it too. And it boils down to this competition. When we were playing games like NBA Jam, Bulls versus Lakers, Bulls versus Blazers, all of this stuff, you could use actual NBA players on all of these games. So there were a lot of different choices. You could play NBA Jam and use the real players. You could play Tecmo basketball and use the NBA players. You could do that. Now, if you don't play 2K, you basically can't play a basketball game. If you don't play Madden, you basically can't play an NFL game. Since there's no competition, guess what happens? You just don't care the way you normally would. If Coca Cola was the only pop product, why would Coca Cola try to get better? Why would they invent new things for you to try? You need competition. If you don't have competition, there's no reason for you to get better. And on top of that, you know that the public's going to buy your stuff. So if I know you're going to buy it, you don't have a choice. I could just jack up the price. And the important part, I'm not going to make my product better even though you're paying more because where are you going? Who you going to? Well, I just won't play. Okay, somebody else will. And it's really that simple. That's why gaming is kind of going downhill because there's no competition. In order for things to change, you not buying the game is not going to help that. I hate to tell you. You could get 24 million people to not buy the game. It won't affect it. What will affect it is somebody else going like, you know what? I can make a game better than this. And then they make a game better than what's out now. That changes the whole equation. Until then, we're stuck with this. And then we're stuck with OLP out here complaining that too much of this stuff is messing us up. I don't know, man. But it's it's summertime, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and hop on 2K and spend absolutely $0. This might mean I'm playing the computer a lot, and this might mean that when I jump into rooms or whatever, I'm getting dotted by 25. But better than me spending my hard-earned cash. Forget all that. So, what have we learned? It's simple, y'all. Moderation is the key to life. Moderation is the key to success. My uncle told me a long time ago, you can pretty much do anything in moderation and you're good. I'm like, anything? Uncle like, whoa, 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 whoa. Not anything. Chill out, playboy. Not anything. Some stuff Even in moderation is gonna mess you up. He's like, if you take the stuff you like and do it in moderation, you'll be good. If you do too much of it, you're gonna burn yourself out. Then you find yourself another hobby. It made perfect sense. That I kind of took that with me. So that's what I'm telling y'all. Moderation is the key to life. And I feel like the NFL will find out quickly, and I feel like CFP will find out quickly. If you don't moderate what you're doing, you're gonna lose your core audience. That's where I'm at with it, y'all. Um, as always, it's been a thrill fooling with y'all. I got a pretty good reception on how I've been dropping my reviews for things. So we're gonna go ahead and keep doing it like that. So make sure you check me out because I'm gonna also go ahead and drop another review for y'all. This will be a little bit different because we taking a week break from reviewing teacher movies because it's summertime, so I'm giving myself a week break from that. Make sure you check this out because it's gonna be a good one, y'all. I ain't gonna spoil it for y'all, but make sure y'all check it out. It's probably gonna drop a few days after this one drops, so make sure you're ready for it, and make sure y'all ready for me to be consistent because hey, nothing's holding me back but heat, space, and opportunity. So it's all good for your boy. We're gonna go ahead and take us out. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Um, I hope y'all kicking back with y'all favorite beverage or whatever and relaxing all summer long because I definitely plan to. It's your boy LP signing out. Life is good.